Hello, all of my space lovers out there. We are officially live for this interview. Long at last. I am so excited. So to whoever joins the stream first, can you let me know that my audio is a-okay, that you can hear me? Just want to make sure that's good. And then let me know where you guys are watching from. Because I know we've got people from all over the world. Some of you are probably staying up super late just to watch this live stream. I'm so excited for this. For any of you guys who are joining this live stream and didn't see any announcements and you're like, what's going on? This is a live with Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson himself. I am so excited. We attempted this live about a week ago, actually, on TikTok. And I see that Neil just joined the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and send him a request. But just to give you guys a heads up, if any of you have your book on you, bring it out right now and bring all of your cosmic queries. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and give live, let's see, an invite. So it should go through very soon. And hello, Neil!
Hello!
So happy! Oh my goodness, how are you?
So we finally made this work.
We finally made it work, and I got a sound effect.
Wait, I gotta fix this here. Hold on.
Okay. This looks really...
No, but this comment, and yeah, hey.
Hello. You look like you're in this awesome, like, wilderness world, or are you even on Earth?
Well, see, are you on Earth? Look at what's behind you. You're on some kind of planet. Can you breathe the air?
Well, I mean, maybe we're all just alien life and we're able to... I'm just kidding. No.
We are aliens to other aliens. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I just thought we're near Earth Day, so I should do this in nature. That's what I figured. Okay.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's great. I think Earth Day is, what, in 2 weeks, on the 22nd?
Yeah. April 22nd. It's that day every year. It's not one of these that moves around like Thanksgiving. Okay?
Yeah, and actually the Lunar New Year, too. Why does the Lunar New Year, it tends to move a lot, Chinese New Year.
Yeah, because the moon doesn't match Earth's orbit around the sun. So if you're going to anchor to the moon, something else has got to give, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was a great way to kind of start this stream, was talking about that stuff.
So you just tell everybody, you used to work at the Hayden Planetarium.
Yes, that is how we met.
And then you go off and become international supermodel, and then and let me tell you this. Every scientifically literate supermodel I've met is a spy.
Is a spy? I don't know what you're talking about.
So I have to ask you, are you a spy?
I can't make any promises. No, I'm just kidding. No, definitely not a spy. For maybe some AI, I don't know. I've made friends with Sophia recently. Sophia, the artificial intelligence.
Well, it's like her head. Did they give her a body yet? It's just the head.
I think she has up to like her waist. Cause I saw her during Fashion Week. She was actually a model for the show, which is totally random.
No, that's kind of creepy. That's kind of no. Let's not go. Let's not.
I mean, it was really cool, but her bottom half was kind of like, I think, just like a stand with wheels, and then they just had a huge dress kind of draping over it. Okay. But she had arms, but they always usually leave her without hair, I guess, to sort of expose all the electronics so people know she's not human.
Okay.
So we're not too freaked out.
She doesn't occupy, what do they call that? The creepy zone? No, the uncanny valley. The uncanny valley.
Oh, okay. Wait, what is this?
You don't know about the uncanny valley?
No, I don't.
Oh my gosh. So in AI and in robotics, it's where the robot is real enough for you to want to think it's real, but there's something about it that's not right, and you're completely creeped out. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I found some like scatterplot diagrams.
Really real, then it's not nothing to creep out about, because it's just like another human being.
It's just a human.
The uncanny valley.
Uncanny Valley. I think we're going to do like a deep dive in that one day. I'm excited to look into that.
On your list. I feel like underdressed, because usually I'll have a cosmic tie or my vest. That's as far as I go. And you are out of control, girl.
Just next level. I mean, honestly though, your Starry Night tie, I believe it's a tie that you have. And is it also a blazer, kind of like a tuxedo?
I have 5 Starry Night ties of different sort of different segments. You know, would Van Gogh have appreciated this or not, that we cut and pasted to fit all the cool stuff in one vertical slice? But so I have multiple Van Gogh ties and one hand custom made Van Gogh vest.
Okay, I think I've seen these.
It's in your face.
That's different than, okay, so you got actually just your suit on here, but I know that one of your photos on some of your books is, it's like the celestial sun and moon, kind of old school style.
Don't get me started on that. I'm just saying, I'm just not as out of control as you are. Okay? Every video, now it's at least in this photo. Is this like reversed on this? How do I unreverse
Oh yeah, it does that. It just does it. It's the mirror effect.
I can't reverse it? Okay.
No, the only reversal camera part, it'll actually show you the other direction. So if you wanted to put it in front of your other camera lens, like, let's see, I could do this. So like that.
Yeah, okay.
Then it would work. So yeah.
Okay.
And also all my space pillows are on the other side.
So here's the thing. So in this picture, I'm posing in front of the Hayden Planetarium.
Yeah.
You don't need my vest when
this
I have
the
planetarium and the
planet's behind you. Yeah.
There you go. So what have you been doing after you were a spy for Russia and for what? All the movies.
All of the movies, I know. Well, I don't know Taekwondo, so I think if I start learning that, then we should probably get, a little suspicious about that. But
you know how to kick some ass, right?
Yeah, definitely be off. But well, I feel like I really want to kind of like get to the book, but it's kind of also like our catch up. This is like a reunion for us as well.
No. So I just want to thank you for your interest in this. And
of course.
And sorry, it didn't work out on TikTok. There was a weird sort of thing going on there, but Instagram is fine. The old IG,
I think Instagram just makes it, so much easier too, because it's able to actually combine like our audiences as well. If you're able to sort of look at the top right, we have 2,700 people viewing. And the thing is with TikTok, they are still doing like new features. So we're trying to kind of figure out what Instagram does with having 2 people go live at once. And I had tested it out about a week or so beforehand, and it was gone. And I'm like, of all accounts, like, I'm like, why is it not on Neil's? Like, what's going on? So they were kind of beta testing it for about a week, and then they took it down, and they're going to probably put it back up again soon. But I mean, Instagram makes it great because also India is banned. TikTok's banned in India.
Oh,
and so now we got a chance for, I think a lot of people are probably watching from there. Which makes it great. But okay, wait. So going back to kind of like space fashion, that was actually a question from one of my friends. She works in the communications office at NASA, and she started 3D printing kind of like all the space jewelry. So her name is Erin Winnick.
Nice. Hubble Space
really
Telescope.
Cool. Hubble Space Telescope, and then she got these really cool atom earrings. And she had a specific question, which was, what would be your favorite piece of space style that you have in your closet? Would it be the Van Gogh tie or vest?
Okay, so yeah, I have 115 or so cosmic ties. And by the way, I have a aesthetic threshold, like no Star Trek, okay, or something.
Wait, what?
No, I'm sorry, no, not
what? Oh, okay.
I'm not wearing Captain
Won't judge.
I'm not doing that. So and also I don't like photographs. I want to see how the artist conveys it. So take Van Gogh, The Starry Night. You know that's not what he saw, but it's what he felt.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to reach to an artist, I want to be able to see through the eyes and emotions of the artist how they experience the world. Then I will value that. Because I've had artists come to me, I saw this Hubble photo, and so I painted it, and I'm looking at it, it's like, I'd rather have the photo. What are you doing here?
Because it's like identical,
Yeah, it's like identical. You haven't taken me to a new place, or a new vista, or a new feeling about what it is I'm looking at. So go back and keep at it. So a favorite space thing, I would say, I should have put it on here. Someone once made for me a wristwatch that was a sundial.
What? Was it actually like I had the piece sticking up as three-dimensional?
Not sticking up. And they said it's a solid state sundial because it was just a rock and a stick.
Wait, that's brilliant though. I would totally rock that.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. And it was a rock, a flat rock, and it was like a leather strap. So that it was very sort of Flintstones. And so, I think they used hourglasses. But so that's one of my sort of favorite novelty things. I also have cufflinks, and for tuxedos, when I go to formal things, they're the the tuxedo shirt has studs in like 4 or 5 of the upper buttons, so they can sort of be visible as jewelry, basically. So I have some studs that are like the moon and planets. So I can totally get decked out on this, but I
didn't know you
to the
could
point
do
where I have a
that.
full suit. That's a full universe. No,
like all space. But I really, it's something about those little accents that I think just make it so cool, because you could go to like a formal event that's totally not like a space event, right? Maybe it's like a red carpet for a film that's not really space related, but you're attending it and you're like, well, I'm going to just put that little accent of space just so you know. It starts a conversation too, which I'm all about that. It's like, it's super, super cool. No, that's so awesome. And you have a brother who's an artist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has he ever done that? Has he ever done kind of his own interpretation of like space art, or he kind of just leaves the space to you? Right? I mean, like, I'll let Neil have that.
Some of his art is influenced by the fact that I'm his brother, but usually he's just doing his own thing. And I've bought some of his art that, for me, evoked the universe in my own interpretation. You know, art should allow you to bring yourself to it, right? It shouldn't be just the artist force feeding you. I was at one of the fancy museums in Paris, the one that's in the train station, the Musée d'Orsay. Okay, you'll know this because you're an international model.
I haven't been to this museum, but I've been by the Louvre.
All those places. Okay, so I'm in there, and there's a room, and there's 2 paintings of some socialite, right? Wealthy female socialite. And so in one painting, she's there posing like this, and you see the dress, and the other one, she's like contemplating. And I'm saying, the one with her just posing, she's not inviting me to wonder what she's thinking about. Whereas the one where she was on a chair looking like this, dressed the same, but just, and I say, gee, did something happen? Is she being married off? You know, this is one of these aristocrat 19th century things. I started wondering what's going on in her head. So that painting brought me in, whereas the other one just didn't. And so that's why I think the artists are the people who do the most emoting of what this world is. And without them, I think you could have a country with no art, but is that the kind of country you want to live in?
Right. Because art also is a statement piece.
That are cutting art budgets. It's like, what are you doing? Let's say, well, art, it won't help you get a job. It won't do. Oh, okay. Again, you could create an entire country with no art. Is that a country you'd want to live in? I don't think so.
No, actually, have you ever been to the art gallery crawls in Chelsea?
No.
No. Oh, we could. Whenever I guess that opens up again, like post-COVID, once every human being's vaccinated.
Just to be clear, Chelsea, New York City.
Chelsea, New York City. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I'm so used to just being like, like New York, like this neighborhood. It's the same thing as like Kensington and like Jamaica. Like when you're in Jamaica, Queens, you're like, wait, where are we going? Or is this train going like all the way through the water? Like, what is this Hyperloop? What's F-Train is now suddenly Elon Musk's Hyperloop. But no, so the gallery crawls are just so awesome. And it's usually every Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. And it's just open to the public, and so many people, all walks of life, ages, careers, go to this, and it's just so extraordinary. It's like 5 or 6 buildings, and you're really like, they have complimentary wine. The artists are just kind of bringing that to try and sell their art, but you meet so many different people, and you see so many different types of art, photography, and everything. And I think it's right where I guess you're sort of talking about, where you have your own interpretation of that. And I think that can actually almost probably really inspire a lot of entrepreneurs to almost go into their own direction of probably building up a company that's inspired by, this line of photography about a place in another part of the world that maybe no one's ever been to.
Well, that's what it takes. And to be truly creative, you want maximum exposure to things that can influence your creativity, because otherwise it's limited. You want to, and often it takes really great exposure to do something simple. That no one else thought of it. Yeah, they'll think of it after you've done it. Oh, that's obvious. Well, you didn't think of it. Exactly.
So, okay, let's jump into this book now. Now that we've had an amazing conversation about art, we're literally.
Screen? It says send a request to be an Astro Athens live, but I'm already in, right?
You're in the live, yeah.
But if I say request to join, what would that do? Will that?
You want to find out?
I'll find out.
Let's see if I get any
pop-up. In this live video, but I am. So
that's strange, and I'm not getting any notifications. So
okay, so your request wasn't sent. Okay.
Because it's probably like, oh wait, you're already on the stream.
Okay, it's called beta testing.
Yeah.
All right.
I think, yeah, it's great. I love beta testing. I think Instagram just did that new feature too, where it used to be where you'd have to send a request, but now I was able to actually request for you to join. So, and that came out probably a couple of months ago.
Okay, so that
I don't know.
for this.
Social media world, lands, all that fun jazz. Actually, speaking of social media, I want to bring up the Clash of the Titans on Twitter this morning from some account called Steak questioned you on science. Like, right. I mean, if we want to chat about that, how about we actually kind of just look in the abstract, like, what even is science? You know, I think that kind of exploring that, and I think that might be a big reason why you included tweets in your book, is because Twitterverse has so many types of conversations, like what you went through or what you did engaged in this morning.
Yeah. So Cosmic Queries is a spinoff, really, a spinoff book from Star Talk, the podcast I host, has a version of itself called Star Talk Cosmic Queries, where our fan base asks us questions. And if it's cosmic, I'm good for it. But occasionally, there are topics outside of my field. We bring in an expert. And I always have a comedian, a professional comedian, as my co-host. They provide a force of levity against the force of gravity
Chuck
that is the
he's
content.
Great.
And you adjust those dials, and you deliver a consistent product, I think. But so that is one of our more successful things we offer the public. But in this case now, so normally I'm thinking, here's what you want to know. But if you're asking me, it's what you want to know. And Cosmic Queries sifts for the deepest questions ever asked in our civilization. Like, how did it all begin? What's it all made of? Yeah. What's our place in the universe? Are we alone in the universe?
Like, what is life?
What is life? Yeah.
Which is just my favorite, like, just question ever and chapter. I mean, what is life? Like, how would, if you could sum that up in one.
Ask me what is science. So what?
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. What is science?
Here, please.
But I just have so many questions. Okay. First is part one. What is science? I feel like doing the arm gestures, just, I don't know.
Okay.
It's like dancing.
So I think people overthink that question. They think science is some thing, and you got to take the class and do the book, and you got to do the thing. Science is anybody's attempt to figure out how the natural world operates, doing everything you can to not fool yourself into thinking something is true that is not, or into thinking something is not true that is. That is science.
Yeah.
And so this part about not fooling yourself, that is important. And I just summarized in that phrase the entire scientific method. Okay? It's well, how do I know that, okay, for example, I read this, I don't know if it's apocryphal, but it makes the point. Towards the end of, was it the First World War, in the fields where there was all this trench warfare, in those fields, the stork population returned, okay? So if you just started counting storks, that went up. At that same time, the birth rate went up in the neighboring town.
Wow.
Clearly, storks are bringing babies.
Is that where the whole thing started? I was like, whoa! I'm like, okay, I know my mind was gonna be blown today, but not about storks. I mean,
so that's a hypothesis, and so then you have to say, all right, is it actually true? So you want to say it's fun to believe that, you want to believe it, but that's not what makes it true, objectively true, coming out of the efforts of experiments, checking and double checking, just in case you fooled yourself.
Yeah.
In assuming that something that correlates in time is actually causally affected. That's an example of just applying common sense to learning and understanding what's going on around us. That's science. And we happen to, we carved it up into botany and biology and chemistry and physics. Nature doesn't do that. Nature doesn't carve it up. We carved it up so that we can put it in textbooks and then offer you classes focused on those topics. But when you step out into nature, That's why in the last 30 years, we've had to staple together previously separate topics. Okay, so we have astrobiology. That's a field. Okay, because previously nobody was thinking that way. We have astroparticle physics. We have biochemistry. That's an early one. All right. So in response to this stovepiping of fields, we've had to sort of restitch them back together in order to make discoveries that would not have previously been possible because people's brains were not cross-pollinated.
Yeah.
That's science.
Imagine if more people apply the scientific method to like big decisions they have to make in their lives.
Well, the world would be fixed tomorrow.
I mean, it just would be so, and imagine too, like, I honestly, so after, like, right after, like, when you and I had first met at the Hayden Planetarium, I was at that crossroads, and I thought, let me apply the scientific method. I mean, both you and Dr. Lou kind of gave us that similar advice of like, well, do a beta test like we did here on Instagram, give this modeling thing a shot, give it do a time frame, try 1 semester, see what happens. If it doesn't work out, okay, you have your answer. Then, go back into your studies full time, pursue that. If it does work out, okay, go down that path and then continue that. And then you start to woven this sort of like conclusion of how you want to take your next steps during the experiments, essentially. And I
by
feel
the way,
like
the experiments then plugged into your total persona right now. That is what you became. You didn't become one or the other. You became both. And you know something? That you can't read about that in career options in books when you become both. All right. What does that even mean? Both. All right. And you become an educator, you become an enthusiast, a NASA supporter, and all of this there's no, where do you say, oh, this is what I need to do in order to do that? No. It's the act of having explored those paths that you then stitch it together to make the entire character persona that you are as Athena.
I mean, and even just too, like, as I think every individual, like, we all have such unique abilities and paths, and it's just a matter of really trying it and not thinking that it needs to be in this exact structure, like you just said.
And you know what else is unique? The allocation of your passion to one topic versus another. Yeah. And maybe you're passionate about things, and you might not even particularly good at it, but you're passionate about it. So just keep doing it. You know something? Yeah. If you're passionate about it, even if you started out not good, you'll probably end up really good at it. Yeah. This is the power that passion has over your expertise and knowledge and life experience. So it's all good. So the next question was what? Oh, what is life? Okay.
Oh yes, and then I even bookmarked it just because I love actually.
I'm honored.
Yeah, I got some.
Got all in it.
I got some Post-it notes here. I just love the way it looks. It's like, whoa. I mean, this is actually, I don't even know what this is. It says, pollen via scanning electron microscope. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, look at that. Have you guys ever seen pollen? So anyone who's having allergies right now, seasonal allergies, this is why, just in case you guys want to know.
It's but yeah, what season, is right?
Yeah. Allergy season. Well,
so here's an interesting question that I just
Schrodinger wrote a book with this title too. Yes, okay, continue. Yes. Sorry, I'm going to find it. I think I have it here. Yeah, I do. Yes. Oh.
It's a very thin book.
Awesome.
Very small book.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is life?
What is life? Yeah.
That's a modern printed book, but he's long dead. I just make sure.
Oh yeah. Yes, and this I don't really understand. I guess the chicken or the egg. Is that why they put that?
That could be, but we know what came first. That's a solved problem.
Yeah. The chicken, and it came from like probably other species that evolved into the chicken.
The egg came first.
Wait, hold on. I thought that the chicken probably evolved from another species that was before the chicken, which was also probably through an egg. Okay, let's actually share about this because
it's simple.
This is knowledge to me.
The egg came first.
Okay.
It was just laid by a bird that you wouldn't have called a chicken.
Okay, so then I guess that's kind of okay. Yeah, so I guess the chicken egg came first. Then
I said the same thing you did, but in fewer words, right? Because at some point you're going to say these are chickens and these are not chickens. So you need a genetic alteration in the offspring of a bird, such that from then on you'll call it a chicken. So the egg that contains the chicken was the first chicken, not the bird that laid the egg.
But do you think it was like a hybrid chicken, like an ostrich chicken?
Yeah, so in practice, I'm describing it like it happens in one generation, but I'm speaking sort of in a compressed time sort of way.
Right.
At some point, an egg hatches, and you say, that's a chicken. At whatever point that is, you didn't say that to the hen or to the bird that laid it, right?
Right.
So that's why it's really the egg came first, not the
Okay.
chicken. Yeah.
Well, alrighty then.
Well, I got another one for you. If you want to go into sort of these imponderables, and then we'll get back to what it's like. Do you know about Pinocchio's nose, right?
Right.
So, okay, we all know Pinocchio's nose. So suppose Pinocchio declared, my nose is about to grow.
Okay.
What will happen next?
He would say a lie, and it would grow. He would control that growth by lying, because that's how it grew.
Wait. So if he said, my nose is about to grow.
Right. And he knows that he would then say a lie because his nose grew every time he lied.
So if it lies, then his nose doesn't grow.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I was thinking he would say like a random lie after that. Okay, so if he's, because then that statement in itself would not be a lie, it would be the truth.
Correct.
If it was a lie. This is fun. Okay, so what's next?
My point is, right, so if he's telling the truth, then his nose grows, but his nose grows only when he's telling a lie.
Okay.
And if he's lying, his nose doesn't grow, but his nose only doesn't grow when he's telling the truth. So here's my point. It's not a paradox. It's simply a sentence that cannot exist in his universe. In the Pinocchio universe, not all statements are valid.
Okay.
So it's not even about a paradox.
Okay.
So the reason this is relevant, okay, because the whole last third of Cosmic Queries is on the bleeding frontier of our understanding of the nature of the large-scale universe. And so we don't even know if we're asking the right questions.
That was one of my favorite tweets. I bookmarked it. On 259, well, I guess kind of along the lines of what you just said, but one's quest in life should not solely be the search for answers. Why not find pleasure in posing the questions themselves? So continue.
There it is.
259.
Okay. You actually went through the book.
Of course. It's really fun to read. Well, I'll get into the formatting questions later, but I really like the structure of it. But continue.
Okay. So the point is, just because you can assemble nouns and verbs in a sequence doesn't end with ending with a question mark. Just because it's a legitimate sentence in a language does not make it a legitimate question in the topic that you're addressing. Here's another example. Let's go find Santa Claus. And where is he? Where's Santa Claus?
The North Pole.
Thank you. Good. So
I'm a child. I'm a grown-up child.
I was so excited when you said that.
Santa.
You brightened up. Okay. So Santa's on the North Pole. And by the way, all movies and cartoons that show him on the North Pole with his workshop, they always show like mountains and trees and things. People, there's no land on the North Pole.
I have noticed that actually.
It is an ocean.
Let me Google that.
Water. It is, he's on an ice floe for now until we no longer have ice floes.
Right.
So let's just make that clear. All right. So you go to Santa and say, Santa, could you please point me in the direction of north?
Yeah, look at this. We've got one right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, what is going on? Why is this? This is not the North Pole. Okay, continue.
These are just people who flunked geography, okay?
Oh, man. Yeah, they just watch this live stream and they'll be like, okay, guys, we've been doing it all wrong. Santa should just have a bunch of igloos. That's
just a bunch of igloos.
And buildings.
And as, as the planet warms up, he can't be wearing those heavy clothes. He's going to be in a bathing suit eventually. So we're going to have to,
Anna, gotta do some workouts. Gotta get those protein cookies from Mrs. Claus. Make them vegan. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So, all right, so here's the point. So I go to Santa and say, Santa, please point me north.
Mm-hmm.
In every direction Santa points is due south. The very question, which way is north, has no meaning on the North Pole.
Okay.
So we know that because we're outside of that and we can see it. We understand the way we set up the grid. It is such that on the North Pole, you cannot travel north. You can't even travel east or west. You can only go due south in every direction you go. Point is, that's easy to see. The Pinocchio case is easy to see, how the sentence has no meaning in those universes. But on the frontier, do we even know whether our question has meaning? If you're going to ask, what was around before the Big Bang? But if time, before implies time, and if time began at the Big Bang, the very question itself might not have meaning at all.
Yeah.
So we don't know. And so this book is a mixture of questions where we got good answers for you. Other questions that here's the best we've got, we're not sure. And still other questions like, look, we don't even know if we're asking the right questions. Let's give it a shot. And so this is an honest state of how science works on the frontier. And I was very happy to put this out there.
Yeah, it's just, it's really just so, I think phenomenal to kind of just have these big questions that I almost want people asking these questions every day, whenever they meet someone new. Imagine asking somebody new from a different place on the planet, wherever you travel to, like, what is life, and get their own sort of insight on that. Because I guess that sort of ties in with what you just said, where it's like the question is, it's not that it's irrelevant, because it is, but I guess it varies sort of, it just, yeah, I guess it just really varies.
Well, it's one of the things, if you come at a conversation in a cosmic perspective, and it's with a complete stranger who's in a completely different culture, you know they've wondered, what is life, and are we alone?
Yeah.
And there's that common denominator is, I guess if I weren't an astrophysicist, I would say it's universal. But most people, most time when they say universal, they mean Earth-wide, right?
Right.
Like Miss Universe, it's really Miss Earth, really. Just
Earth. Yeah, like what if there's like some alien species somewhere else having a competition? They're like, excuse me, we own the entire, we've already colonized the entire galaxy, so we're a bit more universal than you guys are.
Right, right. You have a universal joint. You have Mr. Universe with big muscles. No, you're Mr. Earth.
Mr. Earth. I kind of like the sound of that though. Like, yeah, Miss Earth rather than Miss Universe, or Mr. Earth rather than Mr. Universe. I think it has like a pretty cool ring to it too, and have like the what is it? The entire human race flag, the flag of Earth, right? I mean, just that. Imagine that. Like, I actually wonder if they're crowds with it.
It's more specific and more. I think it's more authentic and honest.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah.
Although you do wonder if they had sort of Miss Mars, whether on Mars they're saying, if the Mars contestants say, I want world peace.
Then it would be like Martian peace?
Martian peace, yeah. Martian.
Why is that world is only relevant to Earth, though? Why can't world be for other planets as well?
It used to. Well, no, sorry. Let's back up. World used to mean everything. Okay?
Right.
Or other words. So, the fact, War of the Worlds, the novel by H.G. Wells, was a war between Martians from Mars and Earthlings from Earth. And these are worlds. Okay? And so Galileo has a book, Dialogue of Two Chief World Systems. And this was the world was, how is it all configured? So world, capital W, can mean the sun, moon, star, and planets and everything. Okay. So world is a very loose word in that regard. So it's not a problem.
Interesting. So world was more like universe, Miss Universe. It'd be like Miss World then. Because that's kind of what's being implied by even the competition, the pageant. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, but I would still keep it Miss Earth.
Miss Earth. It does sound, I mean, I just like picture kind of like, I don't know, just all like earthy vibes. Kind of like your background right now, actually. Just being there, like when someone gets crowned. Like, which, by the way, did you see the Earth flag that would go to Mars? It's actually really cool. I didn't know this was the Earth flag.
No, I didn't know. That's the first time I've ever seen it. Are you sure about that?
The international flag of planet Earth.
Looks like someone got sort of compass happy with that geometry tool, and they just kept making circles.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Well, we won't go into a rabbit hole on that right now, but even though we could just probably go on so many different tangents. But no, that's interesting. Did you have any other final thoughts about what is life?
Yeah, so here's an interesting thought. every time we try to define life, keep in mind that it is fully anchored on life as we know it.
Right.
So we would say, okay, life has a metabolism, which means you process energy, you can reproduce, you can change from one generation to another. Maybe that's not a prerequisite, but it's a feature of all life as we know it. And so if those are our definitions and we start looking elsewhere, what do stars do? Stars consume energy. Stars are born, live out their lives, and die. Stars send gas to other gas clouds and give birth to other stars. Stars fulfill nearly every criterion people have laid down to the question of what is life. But none of us would say that a star is alive. So I don't think we're very good at this because we have only a sample of one. And that's life on Earth. And all life on Earth has common DNA. So we think we're diverse, right? Yeah, you look different from a banana, but you have 40% identical DNA with a banana, okay? When you look at the biochemistry of life, you want to.
I had no idea.
you want to believe you're different. Okay.
That's actually, it's funny. My makeup powder from Fenty Beauty, which is Rihanna's brand, is banana. That's the color of the skin tone I needed for my face. And it's funny, it's actually called banana, which is hilarious. So yeah,
okay,
have a lot more in common.
So, and of course, chimpanzees, it's 98, 99%
right.
identical DNA. And then people say, well, what a difference that 1% makes.
Right.
This is our hubris speaking, because we want to not be the same as other animals. That 1%, we have the Hubble telescope in poetry and art and philosophy.
Yeah.
We're and so, but pause for a minute. Maybe the difference between us and a chimp is as small as that DNA difference. You say, how could that be? What are you talking about? A smart chimp can stack boxes and reach a banana, right? A smart chimp might, put up an umbrella like our toddlers can do.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. How can you say that's not far away from the technology and the brilliance and the wisdom of building space vehicles? Well, consider. If only 1% separates us from chimps, let's go on that same scale and throw that 1% to an alien. Let's have an alien that's 1% beyond us in our intelligence DNA, that we are beyond chimps. What would we look like to them? We look like chimps to them.
Yeah.
Our Hubble telescope. You come home with high marks on your calculus class in graduate school, and they'll say, oh, just like little Timmy over here in preschool. He just did his calculus.
Yeah.
The smartest humans would be like their toddlers if they were just the 1%. So Athena, if I said to you, Athena, I'm getting on a plane. I'll meet you in LA at the studio for this, and we'll have coffee, and then we'll go over the script, and then we're done. Okay? That's a simple sentence.
Am I getting a TV offer right now?
No.
Because I think we got 2,300 people as witnesses. Thank you very much. Cosmos regenerated. No, okay, anyway. Sorry, continue.
So what I'm saying, that's a simple sentence.
Right.
What does that sentence mean to a chimp? Chimp said, well, what's an airplane? What's coffee? What's Los Angeles? What is it? None of that makes any sense at all to a chimp. And it's one of the simplest sentences I could possibly utter to you.
Yeah.
So imagine a life form with 1% beyond us, such as we are beyond chimps, uttering their simplest sentence. We would be scratching our head wondering, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
I lose sleep over this every day.
Oh.
I lose sleep, wondering whether just because we are like the first to have this level of intelligence on Earth, who's to say that is enough intelligence to figure out the universe? Who's to say that?
Yeah.
Maybe it is only a fraction of the actual intelligence we need to solve the problems of the questions we have posed. And maybe we don't have sufficient intelligence to even know what question to pose in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you in a rocking chair?
Like my only,
Are
yeah.
you in a rocking chair?
It helps me think. Yeah. It's great. It's just, yeah, you know.
When you're like the old
Makes
lady
me
on the
think,
porch.
oh, this is, oh, for sure. I actually was doing that when I was living in California. I had a cat too, who would just come and so just sit near me while having my coffee. But no, I mean, imagine if we spent most of our days asking exactly what you asked. Like, this is why I think it's so important that we start to really incorporate so much more of this, like, you know, man and machine type of fusion, right? We're having a lot of AI kind of doing a lot of the mundane tasks that maybe we don't need to do because we can sit and think about these questions, ponder these questions. That would probably, hopefully, get to the whole next level of what, technological evolution, mental evolution.
That's very wishful of you. Have you seen the world lately?
Well, yeah.
Wait. Are the people who think Earth is flat because they haven't had enough time to think about it? Do you really think this? That is so.
Well, this is why it's so important that we're doing this. You know, I think that not only just obviously, you know, being on social media, being on television, but just like the ripples of generations. Like, there will be a point that, like, okay, how about we actually ponder, why is it that some people are thinking this way? And I know a lot of people do, and it gets quite exhausting. But I think that as we, I guess just maybe that's kind of where we have to start thinking about what types of questions should we be asking. What you just said is understanding more about why some of our species does the things that they, you know,
so Isaac
like, asks the things that they do.
You know when he did his deepest thinking? At his country house in Lincolnshire, after he escaped London during the plague of 1665. And he was there alone. And he didn't have HBO. He didn't have any other, there was no
all
Uber,
the distractions.
Uber Eats. There's no, and that's where he did some of his deepest thinking.
Yeah.
And so,
have you ever done something like that?
Well, I wanted, you know, when the pandemic hit, I know I'm very mobile. I'm very remotable. And a pandemic, I said, okay, if I'm not going to leave these four walls for months, maybe I'll do something brilliant. I said to myself, but there's the urge, you know, I have to catch up on my Rick and Morty. You know, I'm behind on some Stranger Things, you know, and so
it's tempting. Yeah, I mean,
so maybe the entertainment industry is hijacking our creativity, preventing us from having the future that my generation dreamed we would have by the year 2000, where everyone is in flying cars and monorails and motorized walkways and the like. Maybe that's it. Or we just solved a big problem.
Gosh, I can't imagine being like a teenager and thinking that, you know, by this year, you know, X amount of year, it's going to be flying cars. Like, I mean, I guess I personally haven't thought of that. Like, okay, by year, you know, 20 something.
All the time.
All the time.
That was an avocation.
Wow.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
You know, and how long would you have to wait before there's a cover story in a magazine? The city of tomorrow. The home of tomorrow, transportation of tomorrow, fashion of tomorrow, food of tomorrow. Everything was about tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that all stopped. You know when it stopped? When we stopped going to the moon.
Yeah.
The late 1970s, that all stopped. 1980s, nobody's thinking about tomorrow. What's the biggest thing we figured out in the 80s? Let's have a shuttle to boldly go where hundreds have gone before.
Orbiting around the Earth, just low Earth orbit nearby. I mean, a lot of, I think, great stuff did, of course, come out of the ISS, but like, for instance, like Adidas sent up these shoes, like the memory foam, what totally side note, and they did a lot of, you know, obviously, they do a lot of research up there, but I completely agree with you. That's a big thing that I think held back so much of just like taking big, bold, risky moves just as like a collective species. You know, that's something that I think a lot of people kind of stopped doing. And I think that just ended up hindering so much. And I mean, this is why I'm quite hopeful now. I don't know if you've seen how many companies have teamed up with SpaceX to send people, like civilians, like, you know, those who aren't going through an astronaut program.
Decades ago.
Yeah.
Decades ago.
But now it's happening. Oh, yeah.
You mentioned memory foam?
Yes.
Okay. They advertised that they were sort of invented by NASA for space, and it cushions your body and all this. Okay. Because memory foam, you press your hand in it,
right?
It uniformly supports your hand as your hand digs in. Okay, so I thought about that, and I said, wait a minute. After the first 8 minutes of a launch, you're weightless.
Irrelevant.
So what is the memory foam doing for the week that I am in orbit? I don't need foam at all. I don't even need a mattress. I could just that is.
Yeah, actually, why did Adidas send up their new memory foam technology for these shoes? Actually, let me see. I think in here it has like a little thing that kind of talks.
Did you just take off your shoe?
Yeah. Yeah, just gotta read it. It doesn't say, well, obviously, imagine it had the whole description. So this is the research that we did on the ISS, like right here. But I actually am curious though why it was that they sent this up there to sort of test out, because if you're in 0G, like that's totally irrelevant.
There's
you're
nothing
not gonna have any
pressing on the
pressure.
memory foam.
Well, I'm going to research that. I will let you know, because I'm really curious about that now. But okay, hold on. So
do you have questions from
there are so many questions.
Yeah, bring them in.
So many questions. I took a whole bunch beforehand. So let me see. There are so many. Let me just try to choose one. I want to stick to kind of the book for now. One thing specifically was actually, what was your kind of decision behind the structure of the book? Something I think is really interesting, not only including obviously your tweets, but the little bullet points, little factoids. It makes it, I think, so much more fun to read than sort of a standard chapter book. And I think it just makes it a lot more fun. Is there like a science communication, insight, knowledge you want to share about?
Thanks for asking that. Thanks for noticing that and for asking that. Yeah, the book there are chapters, but they're framed. So as the chapter moves forward from one topic to another, there are sort of bits of information. For example, we talk about the origins of knowing how big the universe is. And those pivot on work done by women at the Harvard College Observatory 100 years ago. And so we're talking about their lives and who were significant and what work they did and the issues they had with their in a male society. And why were they hired at all? Because they were the human computers before computer referenced a machine, and the men viewed the computing as menial work suitable for women, and the men did other work, whereas all the discoveries in the universe happened from having done that, quote, menial work. So we have a simple box that said, I forgot what it is. Is it 50 cents an hour or something? And it's the equivalent of their hourly pay back then when they were working. This is a little box insert. So it adds some nuance to the flow of the chapter. And so these are there, I think, because sometimes, if your attention span is not all ready to sit down through a 300-page book, these are ways to sort of, I think of them as biscuits that you can taste along en route. And there's must be several dozen of my tweets that are scattered throughout, because it just so happened, that was kind of an afterthought. It was like, I have a tweet on this topic. And so I dig out the tweet, find it, and then put it in. And so the tweets are part of what sort of guides you forward in case you're drifting, in case you just want to smile. Tweets are my attempt at being funny sometimes. I don't know if I succeed.
Yeah, you do. It's also like a stream of consciousness for you, right? And a lot of times it's sort of just
it's whatever's in that moment that I'm thinking as I go through. So give me some questions that people might have.
Yeah, I know. I'm like going through it and trying to find sort of the actual. I didn't put a post in it for that. Couldn't find the exact one, but there's a question box down here, so I'm actually going to see. I should be able to display it, but it looks like all the boxes are it's so weird. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. They're all turning up like a white blank box. So good thing I wrote some in advance. So we're actually going to go ahead and open those. I got so many good ones. So from Will James, what essential knowledge should every human have about the universe?
Yeah, so I know where he's coming from, but I have an unorthodox answer. You ready?
Okay, ready.
It's not about the knowledge. It's about your capacity to ask questions. It implies that I have this knowledge, so now I am ready for the world. Well, the world is advancing every day. Our understanding of the world is growing. And you might have to update what you think is going on around you. And the only real key to surviving that, or to thriving, I should say, for thriving in that, is to have a sense of lifelong curiosity. So that the day you exit school, you're not singing that Alice Cooper song, "School's out for the summer, school's out forever," okay? I don't know if you know that song. Whoever
of course
remembers
I do.
that song,
Yeah, I know it.
it's an anthem for the last day of school. And that's when people toss their books in the air and they run for it. I'm thinking, wait a minute, what just happened in that building so that you are delighted to no longer have to be in there? Because your only job was to learn. That was your only job, to become more enlightened about this world. And now you're glad it's over. So I'm not going to blame you, because plus it's a good song. I'm going to blame. So
it's an awesome song.
It's an awesome song. I'm not going to blame you or Alice Cooper. What I'm going to say is something needs to change in the schoolhouse so that when you leave, you'll feel sad. But you're empowered to become a lifelong learner, and you know then how to ask questions. So you should never think of this world as, let me assemble a body of knowledge and I'm good for it. It's, let me figure out how to probe this world, and that will bring me all the knowledge I need.
Yeah. I mean, it's continuously learning.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. It's like not only asking the questions, wanting to answer them yourself, wanting to research it and learn it.
Add up how many hours, days, years you will spend not in school compared with how much time you spent in school. You have the potential to be vastly more enlightened than anything that could have possibly happened in the 9 to 3 school schedule going K through 12 or K through 16. So that's my answer to that question.
I love it.
Another
I think that
question.
it's asking the questions and then also like wanting to answer it on your own and then exploring that. That's the whole purpose, I think, of learning. So next question comes from Astro Glore. This question came to me about a week ago. What is something about life that puzzles you every day?
Well, I'm not odd in this puzzlement. I still want to know how Earth went from organic molecules, which are abundant, to self-replicating life. That remains a mystery, and it's on the frontier of research biology. So that's what's most mysterious to me. Plus, I want to know whether the intelligence we have assembled in our fat heads, because we have the largest head to body weight ratio of any animal there ever was, I want to know, is that sufficient brain power to contemplate all that needs to be known in the universe? It's similar to what I had commented before. I want to know, it's related to our life. And here's the most intriguing thing for me about life. Did you know that we...
Oh, lost audio. Wait. Okay.
Oh, lost audio. Sorry.
There we go. You're there.
Yeah?
No, it's good. Yes. Okay. Perfect.
If you look at the tree of life, the branch that led to us separated from the branch that became mushrooms later than the common ancestor of we and mushrooms separated from green plants.
Whoa.
Which means we and mushrooms have more in common with each other than either of us have with green plants. Just saying.
Wow.
That could be why mushrooms have a special relationship with our brains.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that's quite, interesting. Just sort of that derivative of just like everything that's formed on Earth, and then like the process in which I think it'd be really useful just as like a human being to actually take like a biological evolution course to sort of see where we've got to where we are today. I think that's kind of vital just for being human. It's like almost like our human responsibility to do that.
And when you do that, you'll see that mice are very close to us evolutionarily and on the tree of life. And so you say, oh, that's interesting. Well, let's see how interesting it is. That's why mice make such good lab specimens.
Yeah.
Mice have obesity. They have cocaine habits.
I think they get like really similar infections too as humans and allergic reactions and
all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, really fun statement from Sebastian Leon. He goes, pair food and music. Go.
Oh, oh.
That's really fun.
Oh, food and music. So here's what's interesting to me. We, as these biological entities called humans, have 5 traditional senses, right? Touch, smell, sight, hearing, and taste. Okay. Mm-hmm. Look at what we do in our lives, in our civilization, to serve those senses. Okay. People will spend millions on art to just look at. People will spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars at a fancy restaurant, and just as much on wine just to taste. People will have music collections of thousands and thousands of musical songs just to listen to. So our senses matter a lot to us because they're access to our senses of pleasure and enjoyment. So to say what music would go with food, let me go one step further. Okay, I like wine at the right meal. The best Italian wine I've ever had was in Italy, on this mountainside, and there's a gorge and there's a waterfall, and then the waiter comes out speaking Italian, and there's a mandolin, and I'm thinking, this is just right. This moment is feeding the senses in a way that a very deep and long culture has honed. That probably wasn't the best Italian wine I've had ever, but in that moment, that's the one I remember the most. So when you want to talk about wine and food, if I'm going to have an Italian dish, be it lasagna, even just pizza, I'm going to pull out an Italian wine. Yeah. Just to be right by it. And do you know what Galileo said? Galileo, one of the more famous Italians out there, of many, including Leonardo da Vinci. Galileo said, I'm paraphrasing, but this is the gist of it. The sun manages to keep the planets orbiting in their appointed paths, yet somehow manages to ripen a bunch of grapes as though it had nothing else in the world to do. Galileo.
That's so great. And wasn't he Italian?
Galileo Galilei.
Galilei.
Totally Italian, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
that's what I'm saying. That's
with the Pope in Rome. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Is that of course it would be grapes that you'd be talking about because wine derives from grapes, as you obviously know, and it's just of all people to say that. Of course, it'll either be him or I guess maybe Sinatra. Or which, by the way, you didn't answer the music. What music? You were saying Italian food and a red wine, but what music? What would you pair that with?
Oh, I like chamber music with food.
Okay.
Yeah, not hard rock, because some music can give you indigestion. It's sometimes in the day versus other times in the day. I like chamber music. A select few instruments. No vocals, because I want to have a conversation with others assembled. So no madrigals or anything. Just simple instruments with welcomed company, a nice bottle of wine befitting the nationality of the food. So I just maybe just chamber music, I would say. Handel's water music. How about that?
Okay, Handel's water music. I'm gonna write that down. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
In fact, I got married to Handel's water music, the hornpipe, which is one of the movements. Hornpipe.
I love it.
And if you ever hear it, just listen to it. Imagine it's not so much a march, but it is music that has you move forward, and it's delightful and it's very playable. All
right. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna listen to that later. I would play it now, but I think it might have copyright things, so I probably won't be sharing that this time. So we have got about 1 minute before Instagram might try to kick us off. But I think that the final question that I want to go with is, it's so good. It comes from Michael Alaya, who asks, almost a decade ago, you gave a beautiful answer to the question, what is the most astounding fact? You tell a story about how each of our atoms came from the heart of an exploding star and then speak to the underlying connection that we all share. This question is twofold. Almost a decade later, I'd like to ask you again, what is the most astounding fact? And how might that scientific perspective and understanding provide connection and common ground in this time of social and, well, racial division?
Wow. Well, let's hope Instagram stays beyond the 1 hour. Maybe
I know. It's still going, so I guess they don't do that limit anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's just keep on going.
I'll talk fast, okay?
Okay.
So that video, the most astounding fact, has got like a zillion YouTube views. People, it was just me speaking, but people, creative people, turned it into a striking video of beautiful imagery from nature and the universe. And so I tip my hat to those who were inspired enough by what I said to take it up a notch and make it a visual as well as auditory experience for the viewer. So that fact is that our atoms are traceable to the crucibles in the centers of stars through undergoing thermonuclear fusion, made heavy elements out of light ones. And it's these heavy elements that get scattered into the galaxy from the explosive actions of supernovae, enriching pristine gas clouds such that the next generation of stars will have planets with the right ingredients that can make life and people in at least one of those planets. So what that means is we are connected to the cosmos in a deep and fundamental way. It's not just figuratively true, it is literally true that we are stardust. As a result, when you stand up at night and look up into the stars, you can ask yourself, am I here and is that there? Is that separate from me? No, no. Because your atoms came from those stars. There's a connectivity, a relevance, a sameness to it that gives a profound sense of belonging. So I would say, if I were to take that analysis to another level, I would say that we spend so much energy trying to make ourselves different from everybody else, and then we fight war over those differences. It's tribalism at its most base level. And I say to myself, maybe we're special, because special, everyone says, I'm special because I'm different from you. Maybe that's not the definition of special. Maybe we're special because we're the same. Maybe we're special because all of us on Earth have atoms traceable to those stars. Not only that, we are connected to all life on Earth in the tree of life. So we have a kinship with the biosphere through our biological forms. We have a kinship with the planet through our chemistry. We have a kinship with the universe through our atomic constitution. All of this tells me that when I look up at night, I don't feel small, I feel large. Because I am connected, and so are all of you, and are the blades of grass on the lawn are connected to the cosmos together. That is a cosmic perspective like none other. And that came to us in 1957 in a research paper that explored and decoded and discovered this fact, that we all come from stars. You haven't heard of them. Why? Because there are 4 authors and it took 10 years, and screenwriters don't write movies about 4 authors that take 10 years to make a discovery. The public still thinks that most science happens by the lone genius burning the midnight oil saying Eureka. No, that is not how most of modern science unfolds. So the greatest gift to civilization itself from astrophysics is that discovery. And if that can't make us all hold hands, I don't know what will.
All I have to say to that.
Oh. You got a soundtrack?
I got a soundtrack. I had all these sounds. And I completely forgot to use all of them too. That was just so great. I think also too, like yeah, if we were to wrap there, I think that might be like a really, really great spot. And I think
I don't know what I can follow that with.
I mean, I think that really sums up beautifully, like not only the reality of what we are, but also to our interactions with each other. And especially too, as science communicators, I mean, especially whenever first time I met you, and I think every person you ever meet and your books, whoever reads it, that's kind of the underlying, I think, concept and gain that they get from your words and from also from each other, from our universe. And so I think that definitely is yeah, I would say probably a great place to sum up. That's where I would do it.
And I'd be delighted one day to have you as a guest on Star Talk. We're thinking of doing a show.
I would love to.
Just okay. The people out there who are on the educational science ed landscape, and there's like a whole contingent. So you will come and represent that whole contingent and tell us what everybody's doing and how and why, what the challenges are, and we can compare notes. So
I would love that. Okay, we've got 2,100 people as witnesses, so I will follow up to that for sure.
I promise.
That's great. Seriously, that makes me so happy, Neil. Thank you for that. I'm so happy.
Thanks for having me as a guest.
Of course. And as a reminder for everybody, definitely go get your copy.
And the book is actually printed in forward text, not backwards text, in case you were wondering.
Oh yeah. Well, imagine how fun that would be. Just backwards tardigrade. Just, you know. But yeah, so I'll share the link in my story for everybody. It's on Amazon.com, so you definitely can go ahead and order it there. And I think it's probably available in a bunch of bookstores too. But
very good seeing you again, Athena.
Yes, you too, Neil. Thank you so much. And I'll talk with you in the future. Yes, everyone. Yeah, everyone online, say goodbye. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye, Neil. Take care. Bye.